YouTube, what's up? Back again for another daily tip video here on Andrew Upshaw Fishing. Just finished up day one here at Pickwick. Had 13.5, not a bad day, sitting around in the 80s or something like that. So not exactly the day I wanted, but it still has me in the hunt, basically. But today's video is gonna center around three of my favorite rod models and probably three of the most versatile rods in my boat. I actually wish I probably had 10 of each one of these rods. Actually, one of them, pretty sure I do have 10 of those. Just for your information, I will have Douglas coming up. The show is probably going to drop sometime this next week, and I'll have Pickwick following almost immediately. Those will be in addition to the daily videos. They won't be a part of the same thing. So those will be separate, so I don't want to break down too much of what happened here, but just want to kind of give you an update as far as that goes. But if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that sub button and comment below what is your favorite rod that you own. I don't care if it's a Lose, a Favorite, a Ducket, whatever it is. I want you to drop a comment below what is your favorite rod, but I also want to know what length and action the rod is. Because, like I said, we can learn something from everybody, and I hope y'all learn something from me. So y'all stay tuned right after this. So I get a lot of questions as far as rods. Probably one of my most asked questions on my YouTube channel, on my social media, and basically anytime somebody runs into me at the gas station. So a lot of times I get the question is, I have, and this is an exact question that I had literally like 2 days ago, was, hey man, I want to buy a new rod, but I want something that's really versatile that I can use for a lot of different things, and I don't want to spend a lot of money, but at the same time I want a good rod, but I'm willing to spend it, but I'm only going to get one. So basically I'm going to give you three options of three extremely versatile rods, and I'm going to give you exactly what I use with those rods. And you don't have to necessarily go out and just buy every Lose that I tell you about or whatever. Honestly, this is what I use. But, you can kind of, piece it together in other rods and things like that. But these are absolutely the rods that I use. Day in and day out. I'm literally just took rods off my front deck that I'm fishing with in this tournament. The first one I'm going to talk about is probably the one that I do own 10 of. And it is the Magnum Hammer. Y'all have heard me talk about the Magnum Hammer a lot if you've ever watched my videos. This rod is probably the most versatile rod on my lineup. I can do a ton with this rod. As you can tell here, I have a red-eyed shad, a 2-tap on here. The Magnum Hammer is a 7.3 medium heavy. It actually says it's a fast action. I don't really think it's a fast. I'd say it's kind of, I guess it's probably close to a fast, but it's probably between like a moderate fast and a fast. This is my moving bait rod. I would almost rename this thing to the moving bait rod. So I use a red-eye shad on this. I throw a spinner bait on this. I throw a thunder cricket on this. A couple of oddball baits. I throw a jig head swim bait. So if I drop down to 8 and 10 pound test on a bait caster, this is the same rod that I throw, the 7.3 medium heavy. So it can handle that really light line, it can handle big line. I throw a buzz bait on this rod with braid. So, it's extremely, extremely versatile. It does a lot of different things in my boat. Lose has this rod in lower end models like the Custom series. This happens to be the Custom Pro series. It's the one that I turn to. It's just really balanced. It's extremely light, and I just like it a lot. The second rod that I'm going to talk about is another favorite that I really like a lot. It is the Mag Bass 1. So this happens to be a Pro TI rod. I've gotten to where I really like the Pro TI rod a lot. It's extremely balanced. It's a really high modulus graphite. But the thing about the Pro TI rod is it's expensive. So the cool thing about the Mag Bass Rod 1, which is the model name, it's a 7-foot medium heavy. So when we think 7-foot medium heavy, we are thinking worm rod all day. Well, it's not even just a good worm rod. This is actually, I've been fishing my thunder cricket on it lately. I I did it by accident. Okay, so I was at Harris Chain, and you know we all have a tendency to just pick up a rod, tie bait on it, and go fish it. Well, I did that with the Magnum Mag Bass Rod 1 with a Thunder Cricket there, and I caught some fish, and it really surprised me, and I wasn't expecting it. So I caught some, and I really fell in love with it. This rod, though, I can fish a Texas rig. I can fish a jig head. I can fish anything on the bottom in less than 10 to 15 foot, and that is a very big key to me. Less than 15 foot. So like a 10-inch worm, Texas rig, straight tail worm, things like that. Definitely a great go-to. The Thunder Cricket, though, it skips it extremely well. It has a good load to it. But the reason you want a 7-foot medium heavy is the versatility of the rod. I mean, you literally can throw just about anything on the bottom, slow moving baits. You can throw a finesse jig on it. A finesse jig works extremely well on that rod model. So there's a lot of options there. So between the two rods I just showed you the Magnum Hammer and I showed you the Mag Bass Rod 1. Well, since this is only a 3-rod series that I'm talking about, the next one kind of falls in line similar to those. This is the jig and worm rod. This is the Mark Rose ledge rod. It's a 7.2 heavy. So the 7.2 heavy, this particular rod has a full cork handle, as you can tell. This rod is what I use I use this for pitching. I use it for frogs. I use it for flipping. I use it for Texas rigs and jigs deeper than 15 foot of water. It has become a staple in my boat. So funny story today. I get out there and I've got 3 flipping rods rigged up. I've got 3 of these rods rigged up, and I only own 3 of them. So that whole saying of pros have 10 of every rod model, that's a lie. I don't have that. I have 3 of this one rod, and I had 3 Texas rigs rigged up on it that I was pitching around cover. Well, to get 3 of them, I had to take my braided line reel off. I had a custom reel on one of them, and I had to put my frog on. So I literally had to get on the bottom of the boat, take a reel off, reel my line in, put my braided reel in, and put my frog on. I was actually throwing a popping perch, and I had to do that on the water. That's how much confidence I have in that rod. I could have picked up a different rod. I've got rods that probably would work, but at the end of the day, it's all about confidence, and I have a lot of confidence in this rod. This is the same rod that I caught him with at Harris Chain flipping the Kissimmee grass. It's extremely sensitive, and it's extremely balanced. So when I'm pitching those holes and things like that, I have all the confidence in the world that I'm going to get that fish out of there. So guys, that's a 3-rod series of 3 extremely versatile rods, and more so not just because of the brand, but more so the length and action. So the one was a 7.3, medium heavy, moderate fast. I actually throw a jerkbait on this. Is the Magnum Hammer. I throw a jerkbait, a big jerkbait on it. I throw a top water, a walking bait like a Sexy Dog, braided line. Like I said, I have 10 of these rods. I use it for literally everything. The Mag Bass rod, 7-foot, medium heavy, fast action, great worm rod. That's what you want in that situation. And the 7.2 jig worm rod, once again, extremely versatile. I can do everything heavy duty that I want. I basically can do anything I want to with 3 rods. The only thing I can't do is crank or something like that, and those kind of require a bit more of a specialty rod. But in the case of if you have to go buy one rod and you want one that's going to do everything, those 3 are definitely going to get the job done. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said before, if you haven't subscribed yet and you've made it this far, I implore you to go hit the sub button. Maybe you should just go do it. I appreciate that. And guys, thank y'all for tuning in on all my daily videos and all my videos in general. I really do appreciate all the support, and I will see you on the next video.